Yeah, the biggest mistake and the best and worst things about relationships. That's what this video is about. So welcome to the video and I hope you enjoy. Lots of love from Ireland. My name is Owen Fox. Pleasure to be here. So for me, the biggest mistake you can make in relationships when I was much more unconscious was probably was where all the unhappiness came from, the arguments came from our biggest mistake. And the biggest mistake is basically to blame the other person, as if to think and to feel and to say that they're wrong, that they're the ones at fault and they're the ones to blame, and all the problems that you're having is coming from them. So basically speaking, it's the neglect of your own ownership and accountability for how you've co-created and participated and co-made the situation to be how it is, and that includes how you've not been vulnerable, how we've not been honest, how we've not been transparent, how we've not been like sharing our tendermost feelings, which is called vulnerability, how we've hidden or lied or even just suppressed our emotions and our innermost wishes. So all of this is like co-creating things the way they are, as well as all the words that we say and all the things that we do and all the things we don't say and all the things that we don't do. All of this co-creates our relationship. So for me, my biggest mistake and all my girlfriends' probably biggest, like our partner's biggest mistake, we have to be the same thing pretty much for the most part. At least I'll speak about myself. Won't speak about anyone else, but generally it tends to be possibly the biggest mistake. So because when you don't take ownership and accountability and responsibility, and you don't understand, you don't even know, it's an unconscious behavior where we blame the other person, then you can't change anything about yourself, just making the situation so bad or terrible or disconnected, because you just think I can't do anything, it's all them. But when you start to realize, and every situation I ask myself these days, I'm just curious, like, well, how did I kind of like make this worse or bad? And usually it comes down to a few different things, which I've talked about in other videos. One of the biggest is inner resistance to them. And yeah, with the inner resistance comes also the judgment of them being bad, wrong, or shouldn't be the way that they are. And when you accept and you let go of resistance and you allow and accept others to be the way they are. And another thing that I did was I let them live in peace. Don't be interfering or trying to control too much. Let people find and do what brings them happiness, you know. As long as with a sense of integrity and a sense of no harm, etc. You know, not to be springing to judgment. So yeah, that's probably the biggest mistake. But the biggest happiness and joy in relationships, apart from one of the first obvious one, is like when you meet somebody or you connect with someone, usually physical attraction is first. You know, it's automatic. You don't even get to need to know them. You just look at them and you see, you know, if they're to your liking or not. You know, and vice versa. So that's quick, instantaneous. But that's one type of relationship where it's just about sex. It's just about, you know, sexual contact and orgasms and having fun and all that sort of stuff. But in the relationship I'm in now, there's other levels where it's much more about also it's also the physical. It's definitely the physical, and I started with the physical much more too. But it's also much more emotional and mental connection and compatibility and similarities. So when you have the mental and emotional connection, and when you could even call the spiritual connection, like your own inner work and healing that you do, which I'd call spiritual. And you're not just involved about like the base chakras of survival, money, physical, house, which all have a part. I'm definitely not saying they don't, they do. But if you take that part to the exemption and avoidance and the imbalance of including the spiritual parts of yourself and working on your own development, maturation, expansion and healing of stuff like your crown chakra and creativity and inspiration, your heart chakra where you care for others unconditionally, you care much deeper and you help and you be of more service and work to help humanity and help others, to forgive, to love your neighbour, to forgive those you've had troubles with or resentment towards in the past or hurt. And then you work on your throat communication where you speak more loving words from virtue, I love all of these the most. These are the best things about relationships. So the best things about relationships, so I've dealt, the worst things is what I said. The worst thing is basically unconsciousness, and what I said, blaming and just overall unconsciousness. So overall unconsciousness is the worst, because that's what brings all the trouble. And probably the biggest unconsciousness that brings the most trouble is what I said about blaming, and they're the wrong and you're right. Oh, it's so funny thinking about it. So overall unconsciousness. Yeah, that's funny. So the best thing is like love making. That's not the best thing. Like it's good. It's much better if you have a mental and emotional connection. But stuff like co-creating life, potentially planning a baby, having a baby, when the relationship is healed enough. That's what I did in my own life. It's the best thing ever. And I love children, I love babies. I'd highly recommend having a baby, but only when I'd highly recommend it the most, when you've healed enough and so is your partner, and you're both ready enough, spiritually awake, mature enough, responsible enough, accountability enough, able to communicate enough, let go of so much of the heaviness that you're holding. Because then when you have a baby with someone, both of you have loads of density, then you're just not going to have the happiest baby experience. So I made a video about when's the best time to have a baby from an emotional, energetical, spiritual and physical perspective. One of my favourite videos I ever made. Have a check at that. It's on my playlist on my wall. But yeah, relationships rock. You know, you co-create together, you live together. You don't always have to live together, but live life together, share together. You both enhance each other's life and learn from each other. So, like, you know, some of my partner's strengths are my weaknesses for sure, and some of my strengths are her, what she's growing in. I wouldn't say they're her weakness, like, but, you know, sometimes when she's weak, I'm strong. Sometimes when I'm weak, she's strong. Or like some of our, we mismatch, like we match and we exchange. You know, like, what's the word? Mismatch? Not a mismatch, but mismatch. I forget the word. It's when you mix things and share things together. So we share our strengths and positives together, and we enhance each other's life. That's one of my favorite things. One of my favorite things about relationships, you can go deep. So in a monogamous relationship, because you spend more time with one person, you can go deeper with that person than if you've been scattered energy looking at a whole lot of other people and spending time with loads of people, even just 1, 2 or 3. Even so, monogamous, I like monogamy more because I can go deeper. It means I can go deeper into my own wounds instead of distracting myself from the other person with another romantic partner. I could just like focus on one, and because I find there's enough challenges about personal healing and stop blaming that can happen in one relationship, whereas if you had 2 relationships at the same time, then when you're upset with one partner, you can just easily go hop off to the other partner who's in a good mood with you, and then you overlook diving deep into why there's a problem in your first relationship and how did you contribute to it, and fixing yourself and evolving and expanding. It's so easy just to distract yourself. So yeah, such a beautiful day, my friends. Hope you enjoyed this video. Check out for my books and video courses soon. They're going to be the best thing ever. Super excited with them. So I love healing, and I love developing the best relationship possible with one person at the moment in my life, for sure. I love that. I can't see it really changing, to be honest. Diving deep and just being joyful. I love everything. Love life. Have the best day ever. Lots of love. Thanks for watching. Have the best day ever, always, every single day, even the hard ones. No spiritual bypassing, but just focus on higher thoughts and having the best day ever. Realign, reattune, refocus, appreciate to the max, love to the max, and make the best of every situation. Make the most and the best of every single person. Every single moment of a challenge, make the best of it, make the most of it. You'll be doing fantastic. Best day ever.